In a village cradled by clouds, where no path leads in or out, a girl was born under a blood moon. From her first breath, the ground was forbidden to her. For if her feet ever touched the earth, she would vanish forever. 17 years later, she had never walked, never danced, never ran. But her heart had wandered further than any step could reach. Soa floats in a hanging swing, her long white hair spills over the edge. Children play below her, barefoot in the mud. She watches, longing, and then, as if summoned by her silence, a stranger appeared with storm on his boots. A rugged traveler, Rin, enters the village after a storm, clothes soaked, eyes scanning the village with curiosity. He notices Soa above the crowd, suspended in midair like a dream. Their eyes meet. He asked, "Why does she never walk?" They answered only with fear. Rin questions the villagers. The elders sternly warn him, Soa is cursed. He should keep his distance. But his gaze lingers on her suspended silhouette. They spoke only once that day, and yet, it was enough to unravel everything. Rin climbs to her platform with quiet respect. Soa looks at him warily. He offers her a withered flower from beyond the valley. She accepts it with trembling fingers. He returned the next day, and the next. Without asking why, she waited. He never tries to touch her, only sits close, telling her of cities where stars are buried in lights, and seas that never end. Her world begins to expand. When he said, "What if I carried you?" the wind itself went still. Soa freezes. No one has ever suggested such madness. He kneels gently and opens his arms. She refuses. The risk is death. But the thought stays with her like a phantom kiss. The elders feared more than the curse. They feared the girl would believe in freedom. Villagers grow uneasy. Elders confront Rin, threatening exile. Soa overhears. She pleads with him not to go. That night, she whispers through tears, "Take me with you." In the stillness before dawn, he lifted her for the first time. Her breath caught. The world did not end. Rin wraps Soa in a long cloth across his back and sneaks out of the village. She clutches him, trembling. As they leave, clouds part and starlight spills over them like blessing. And so began a journey of a girl who never walked, and a man who chose to carry her anyway. Through forests, narrow cliffs, and wide rivers, Rin carries her without rest. Soa watches birds take flight, the wind in her face. For the first time in her life, she laughs without sorrow. He carried her across rivers where even the current dared not speak her name. Rin crosses a wide, rushing river with Soa wrapped securely on his back. She clings to him in silence, heart pounding, afraid of slipping. His feet never falter. The curse still lingers in her mind. By the fire's glow, he asked her what she dreamed of. She said, to feel the earth, and not disappear. They rest under stars. Soa lies cradled in his lap, gazing up. He listens in silence, something shifting in his heart. But even dreams draw shadows. And the forest has long memories. They are ambushed in thick fog by a four-eyed beast from legend. Rin defends Soa with only a dagger, shielding her with his body. In desperation, Soa raises her hand and light bursts from her palm, blinding the creature. It flees into the mist. Rin lies on the ground, stunned. Soa floats above it, untouched by soil, trembling from what she's done. They reached a forgotten city, where no birds sang, and every statue had no face. Soa and Rin walk through an abandoned marble city, its silence oppressive. They find a shrine with a mural, an image of a girl with white hair standing among flames. And there, in the shrine, lay a letter. Not for him. For her. Soa finds an ancient letter sealed with a strange crest. The handwriting matches one from her childhood books. It speaks of her mother, and warns her never to trust the village elders. She began to wonder, was she ever cursed at all? And why did he never ask? That night, distance grows between them. Soa questions Rin's silence, his constant protection, his careful avoidance of asking about her origin. He avoids her eyes. She turns away, heart twisting. Lightning split the sky as they reached the cliff. And with it, she slipped. He caught her. Her foot grazed the earth, and nothing happened. Time freezes. Soa lies in Rin's arms, her right foot buried in mud. No vanishing. No death. She stares at the ground, then at him. Her entire life unravels in a second. The curse was never real, but the danger always was. Rin reveals the truth. Soa was born under a celestial prophecy. The elders feared her power. The curse was created to keep her hidden from enemies who sought to control her. But now that she's touched the ground, they'll come. From that moment on, he did not carry her. She walked, step by trembling step, into the truth. Soa walks barefoot for the first time in her life. Each step is hesitant, but her spine grows straighter. Rin walks beside her, silent and watchful. The forest feels changed. From high cliffs, cloaked figures observe them through mirrored glass. A falcon circles overhead. Soa senses it, a shadow in her chest, like something ancient waking. In a sunlit ruin, they find an old woman with white eyes. She speaks in riddles about Soa's bloodline, about a mother who chose love over destruction, and a daughter marked to finish what was left undone. Not cursed. Not hidden. She was never meant to float above the world, but to reshape it. In a ceremonial lake, Soa steps into water. The sky reflects her like a mirror. She sheds the silk wraps from her ankles. As her feet sink into the mud, she does not vanish, she glows. The enemies came cloaked in flames. Their camp is attacked by masked hunters from the mountains. Rings of fire trap them. Soa and Rin fight back together, he with steel, she with light summoned from her palms. He fell first. She did not scream. They took her anyway. Rin is struck down protecting her. Soa, too stunned to run, is bound in chains of iron and dragged into a black carriage. They locked her where her mother once stood, between sky and ash, memory and myth. Soa is imprisoned in a tall obsidian tower surrounded by cliffs. Each day, a masked priest brings her food and says nothing. She begins to hear voices in the wind. Some men are carved from stone, others, from devotion. Wounded, Rin awakens, and tracks her captors with rage and blood in his mouth. He finds the ruins where she was taken, gathers weapons, and disappears into the night. In her cell, she sings. Not to survive, but to remember who she is. Soa hums an old lullaby her mother once sang. The wind carries it far. Rin ascends the cliffs under a moonless sky. Blade in hand, fire in his eyes. In the tower, Soa feels the wind shift and stands barefoot on stone. The war for the truth has begun. He came like shadow, silent as memory. The tower didn't expect love to climb its walls. Rin climbs the jagged cliffs beneath the obsidian tower under cover of darkness. His hands bleed on stone. Above, Soa dreams of a world she's never touched, unaware that salvation is coming on wounded feet. When she opened her eyes and saw him, it wasn't rescue. It was resurrection. Rin appears through the window. Soa gasps. Tears fall without words. He presses his forehead to hers through the bars, and for a moment, they are both just breath and heartbeat. They didn't run. They burned their way out. Together they race through firelit halls. Guards scream. Soa's power surges again, not light, but force, and the tower shudders behind them. The world chased them, but the forest remembered. They collapse in a hidden grove of giant weeping trees. Soa touches the ground freely now. The wind wraps around her like arms. Rin watches her sleep, his blade on his chest. She never knew her mother's voice, until the letter spoke. Inside a hidden satchel from the tower, Soa finds a sealed letter written by her mother before her death. It reveals the truth. There was no curse, only fear, and the ones who spread it are still hunting her for what's in her blood. She had spent her life hovering above the world. Now she would shape it. Soa cuts her hair, wraps her feet in leather, and for the first time, dresses not like a girl being protected, but like a warrior born. Rin helps her strap the dagger to her thigh. Love is not soft. It is steel wrapped in skin. They leave the grove at dawn. Soa leads. Villagers along the road stare, not in fear, but awe. Rumors spread. The floating girl now walks, and her shadow is long. They enter a crumbled temple beneath a desert cliff. An ancient pool waits at its center. Soa steps in. Her reflection does not mimic her movements. It whispers her true name. By firelight, Rin finally tells her the truth, that he lied about how he found her. That he had been sent to kill her. But the moment she looked at him, he forgot every reason he'd ever had. She forgave him. Not with words, but with lips. She takes his face in her hands, and kisses him. Not desperately. Not out of fear. But out of knowing that even lies can lead to truth when the heart is brave enough to follow. She was never cursed. She was hidden. Because her blood could awaken a throne. Inside the Temple of Echoes, a ghostly vision appears, a queen with white hair like Soa's. She speaks in whispers only Soa can hear. Soa learns the truth. She is the last of a bloodline meant to rule. Her floating was never magic. It was protection, cast by dying hands. It was never the ground that was dangerous. It was fear. Rin stands beside her, silent and proud. He no longer carried her, but he would walk every step beside her. She never touched the ground. She touched hearts. And that was always the real cursebreaker. As dawn spills over the horizon, Soa steps barefoot onto soft earth. The camera pans out, no longer the girl who was carried, but a woman who walks by choice. Rin walks beside her, and together, they vanish into the rising light.